ready, Chris? Okay. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the June 6, 2024 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair this year. Joining me today is Commissioner Aaron Mays. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Bill Rippon. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our county councilor, Mr. Eckert.
Good morning.
And then Miss Otto, you're filling in for Miss Beck. So as our county clerk. Good morning.
Good morning.
Before we begin, it's not really a presentation and it's not really administrative communication, but we have something special this morning, and it's a bit of recognition that we want to do special. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Candace, to tell us what it is.
Candace Stiles, Shawnee County Extension Office, and I'm here today to recognize Lisa Martin as she officially retires tomorrow from her position as Expanded Food and Nutrition Agent. We have a reception in our office today from 3 to 6, and you're all welcome to come. Lisa started in 1997. I said it, sorry. If you were in high school or maybe college, you may not remember what 1997 was like, so I did a little Google. And the first thing I found out was Google was registered as a domain name in 1997. Titanic was the most popular film. Beanie Babies was the must-have toy for adults and children. A gallon of milk was $1.90, and Dippin' Dots was created. Joan Wagnon was the mayor of Topeka. Michael Meyer, Maris Kane, and Ted Inslee were the county commissioners. Our office was using Windows 95 and WordPerfect 7, something we still have WordPerfect files, right? This was the world we lived in 27 years ago when Lisa started at the Shawnee County Extension Office. And while much has changed, her heart for helping people through nutrition has only gotten bigger. If Lisa is a part of a project in Shawnee County, she's all in. Her partners recognize that she will do what she says, and the product of her work will be thoughtful and done on time. When I started as the 4-H agent in Shawnee County in 2012, Lisa and I shared a wall. I will tell you, our director got complaints about us yelling and laughing through that wall daily. When Lisa announced her retirement, she said she didn't want a big fuss made. Well, I'm going to yell at her one last time and say, deal with it, as we are making a big fuss about you and a job well done. You wanted to say something?
Oh, thank you. I looked pretty young in that picture. So, it has been a wonderful time at the Extension Office. It has never been a dull moment. I have wonderful staff that will carry on after I'm gone. I will miss all of my coworkers, and I'll miss community partners. I'm going to stay on the Farm and Food Council and do a little bit of volunteer community work, but going to take some time to decide what my next career will be, if anything. So I want to thank my community partners, thank everyone that I worked with, and County Commission as well. I have always felt supported by commissioners all through my career. So, and most of all, I think I want to thank our clients. They are wonderful. They're appreciative of the work that we do. When I run into a former client and they say, you know, I loved your class, I'm still doing what you taught us, or the latest thing, this is the best, I think. Middle school kids said that we were bussin'. Do you know what bussin' means? I had to look it up. It means excellent, tasty, and delicious. So anyway, so thank you all.
Thank you.
Lisa, thank you for everything. And Lisa, can we get a photo with you and Candace? 27 years is something really to celebrate. And I mean, that is a long time. How long were you with the city?
It's more than 27. You started in 77?
97.
Oh, 97. Okay. All right. How long was I with the city? We don't want to go there.
Okay, I want one
Congratulations. I'll be by the reception this afternoon. Candace, thank you for doing that, and thank you for getting Lisa here for a big fuss. Madam Clerk, if we could start out with our next item.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Are there any questions regarding the consent agenda? Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
This morning, we have vouchers totaling $2,554,353.65. The only thing out of the ordinary on there is under facilities management, paid with ARPA funds, $542,819.66 is to City and Company, is for the courthouse renovations. And according to this, that project is now 79% complete. So I don't have any other questions or concerns and would move for approval.
All second. Motion made for approval by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 3, consider approval of resolution number 2024-38, authorizing a 2024 cereal malt beverage license to Buffalo Grill located at 5900 Southwest Topeka Boulevard. And the background checks have been done. Townships have been notified, and it was reviewed by the counselor.
I'll move for approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon,
Second.
second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, Bond Council, number 1, public hearing and consider approval of a resolution number 2024-39, expressing the intent of the board to issue Shawnee County, Kansas taxable industrial revenue bonds and enter into lease purchase agreement with the historic Jayhawk Theater, Inc.
Good morning, Bob Perry, Bond Counsel. Before you can consider this resolution, when I'm finished with my little spiel, you'll need to help open it for a public hearing. If anybody has comments or questions, we can answer them. The historic Jayhawk Theater is located at 720 Jackson Street, and they are in the process of trying to rehabilitate the historic Jayhawk Theater. It's been designated as the State Theater. They anticipate issuing a series of bonds over a series of years as the necessary funding can be located and committed. This first series is going to be used to basically shore up the building, redo some exterior, interior, tuck pointing, fix some things that need to be fixed, try and stop the deterioration to make it easier to do than complete a rehabilitation. There's some representatives from the theater here who, if anybody has any technical questions about the project, would be glad to answer them. The theater is a 501c3 organization, an entity under the Internal Revenue Code of the United States. Therefore, under the state law, they do not pay ad valorem tax. The benefit of the issuance of the bonds is materials and supplies which would otherwise be subject to sales tax can be exempted from those sales tax requirements, and therefore increasing the amount of money actually going into the project because of the lack of a payment of the sales tax.
Bob, just for those of us that are not in finance or in banking, an industrial revenue bond, does the county become obligated on that?
No, Kevin, by statute, these are special limited obligations of the county, payable only and solely from the revenues and rents generated by the occupant and operator of the facility. In this case, that would be the theater. The theater is buying its own bond, so in essence, it's buying its own debt.
Okay. So industrial revenue bonds were part of the legislature's last session, talking about that if counties are going to be taking out industrial revenue bonds, that's a bad thing. In this case, it seems like it's a good thing in that you're helping a 501c3, the State Theater of Kansas, finance and do improvements. Am I missing something?
No, the legislature is missing the point.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Berry? All right. At this time, I'll make a motion to open a public hearing on the issuance of industrial revenue bonds.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. The motion passes 3-0. We are now in a public hearing. At this time, are there any persons wishing to speak for the issuance of the industrial revenue bonds?
Speak now, Joanna, forever hold your peace.
Anybody wanting to speak against the issuance of industrial revenue bonds for the Jayhawk Theater? Okay. Is there a motion?
Since it doesn't appear that anybody wants to speak on this, I'll move that we close the public hearing and approve the industrial revenue bonds.
Second.
Motion made to close the public hearing made by Commissioner Mays and approve the industrial revenue bonds, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 2, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2024-40, expressing the intent of the board to issue Shawnee County, Kansas taxable industrial revenue bonds and enter into lease purchase agreement with Southwest Resource Real Estate Group 2 LLC.
Bob Perry, Bond Counsel, Southwest Resource Real Estate Group 2 LLC and Southwest Publishing and Mailing are wholly owned subsidiaries by a company called Moore Companies in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They've decided to add a 120,000 square foot addition to their facility that's located in the southeast corner of 37th and Southeast Adams Street, and it basically expend approximately $20 million plus or minus on the project in order to expand and upgrade necessary space and facilities and improvements in the project. The core business, as I understand it from discussions with various persons with Southwest, is they take raw paper and turn it into envelopes and mailers, and these are mass mailings, thousands and thousands at a time. They anticipate increasing the employment to the tune of maybe 60 plus or minus. They've asked for an ad valorem exemption be granted by the Board of Tax Code under the state laws. This IRB would allow the county to consent to that request to the Board of Tax Appeals. They've also proposed to keep the payment in lieu of tax at a level no less than the 2024 general tax. So in essence, should the ad valorem exemption be granted, their tax payments for the next 10 years would be the same that they make in 2024. Again, the IRBs will allow an exemption from sales tax for materials, goods, and services that are being acquired. And since this is an exemption, or since this is an addition, the exemption would also flow to that.
Okay. So again, just to kind of make sure that we're all on the same page on what this is a $20 million investment into a facility.
Correct.
The county's not obligated for the $20 million.
By statute, you are not obligated and you cannot pay anything.
The owner will continue to pay the taxes as they are for 2024.
Correct. So all of the subtaxing entities, 501, the county, the city, library, all of them will receive no less than what they receive from the 2024 tax levy.
But for a 10-year period, if the Board of Tax Appeals approves, and that's if they approve,
That's correct.
there would be a 10-year period where taxes would not increase during that 10-year period.
That's correct. So as they take the $20 million investment, and let's say it takes 2 years to build out completely, as Steve would go on and appraise it each year, the value will go up, but he's going to classify it as exempt. And then under the lease agreement, there'll be a payment in lieu agreement between the county and Southwest, and they'll pay the payment in lieu of tax.
And the county's consenting to that by this
That's-
action.
Yes, the county's consenting to cooperate and as is required by statute. And basically, the exemption form request to the Board of Tax Appeals has a page that the county appraisers have to fill out where do you want a hearing? Do you agree with this? Do you object to this? And then Steve typically fills those out where, since the lease agreement is provided for a payment in lieu of tax and has agreed not to object to the ad valorem exemption request. He fills that out accordingly so that when it goes up to the Board of Tax Appeals, they see that the parties have cut a deal, basically, and there's a payment in lieu of tax.
And so if John Q. Public was sitting at home and saying, well, my taxes are going to go up over the next 10 years, why are these people not having their taxes go up for the next 10 years? It's the county agreeing that for it to not go up, we're having a $20 million investment into an employer and adding more jobs to Shawnee County.
That's correct. I had a telephone conference call yesterday with members of the Moore Group, including the owner, Jim Moore, and some bankers from Commerce Bank in Kansas City, Missouri, that are going to loan them the money. And I can't remember who individually at Moore Group, I think it was Jim Moore himself, had indicated that the payment in lieu of tax for 10 years will allow them not to have to pay an additional $3.5 million of ad valorem tax, which will allow them then to turn on and keep reinvesting that into the business and hiring people. So the key is we get 60, the county, the area may get 60 plus new employees and all of those benefits, plus we keep a company here.
Okay. Any other questions for Bob before we open a public hearing?
Now, I'll move that we open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion to open public hearing by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. We are now in a public hearing. Are there any individuals wanting to speak on behalf of or in favor of this project? Okay. Are there any individuals wanting to speak against this project? All right. At this time then, as there's not anyone speaking on this item, I will make a motion to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our next item.
Item C, Facilities Management. Number 1, consideration and authorization to issue a request for proposals to replace the operable partition that divides the training room at J.P. Lewis and request to utilize contingency funding for the purchase.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nelda Henning, Director of Facilities. I know that Teresa Fisher had reached out to you in regards to their operable wall at J.P. Lewis and the condition that it's in, and that we've been unable to reach out to anybody that can fix it at this point. We're being told that it has reached the end of its life and parts are no longer available. So we're requesting to go out for an RFP so that we can replace it and they can start using their room as it has intended to be used. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No.
Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item D, Human Resources. Number 1, consider the request to award a bid to Cine and Company, Inc. to remodel the Human Resources vestibule to create additional workspace at a cost of $57,800 to be funded from multiple sources, including small item CIP, HR vestibule project budget, and savings in the Human Resources operating budget, and authorization and execution of Contract C-185, 2024 for same.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis, Director of Administrative Services. The Human Resources vestibule remodel will add a layer of security to our office as well as allow space for additional personnel. The small item CIP, Human Resources vestibule project, and savings in our current budget will fund it, as the clerk mentioned. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. We also have Chuck Downey here from City today.
Any questions?
Nope. I'll move for approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 2, consider approval of resolution number 2024-41, establishing reimbursement for travel within Shawnee County.
Angela Lewis, Director of Administrative Services. This resolution before you will add the following department heads to the existing list of the Directors receiving $250 a month for travel within Shawnee County. This is designed to reimburse department heads for the usage of their personal vehicle when conducting Shawnee County business. The Director of Emergency Management would be added, the Director of the Department of Corrections, the Health Department Director, Information Technology Director, the Planning Director, and the Director of Facilities Management, as well as the Financial Administrator. While the title of Financial Administrator is new to the list, travel reimbursement for the person holding the position is not. When the previous Director of Administrative Service held the position, the current Financial Administrator, I messed that up. Previously, the Director of Administrative Services held the position. The current position is held by a Financial Administrator, and reimbursement was continued from the old position to the new one. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? I'll move to approve resolution.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item E, Planning Department, number 1, consider approval of one additional 2024 fireworks stand application for the sale of fireworks from June 27th through July 5th, 2024.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joni Thadani, Director of the Planning Department. If you recall, I was here last week for the approval of 23 fireworks stand applications, and then after that occurred, one last application came through, and this should conclude the total of our fireworks stands that will be located here in unincorporated Shawnee County if you approve this final application.
Any questions?
I'll move for approval. Well, okay, I'll second.
Sorry.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item F, Health Department, number 1, approval to reinstate 2 idle vacant registered nurse positions that have been vacant 365 days or more as of April 1st, 2024, and a request for a related personnel budget adjustment for the 2025 budget process.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director of the Health Department. I am requesting to reinstate 2 of our registered nurse positions that have been vacant. It is no secret that we have struggled to fill nursing vacancies. Over the last couple of years, we've had a variety of them throughout our department, various programs, and we've tried to get very creative. These 2 positions are still very much needed. As part of the creativity, we have opted to fill these as part-time at this time, just to see if we can garner some additional interest for nurses that might be interested in joining our team part-time versus full-time. So as the memo stated, these are union positions. They are both, one is covered with the grant, but there is a match. The other one is partially grant funded and part of our departmental budget. But we've had to get creative with our scheduling in lieu of having these vacancies, and so our hope is to continue to try and fill these vacancies for my department. With that, I'd be happy to answer questions you might have.
Questions?
Are registered nurses easier to get now, or is it still pretty tight?
I think it's still a very competitive market for registered nurses. We know there's not as many graduating as there is, and there's lots of opportunities.
Good luck.
So, for those that may be watching or those that are hearing this maybe for the first time, it would seem to me that if you are a registered nurse working for the county, one of the benefits would be regular hours, knowing that you're going to be on a more 8 to 5 type work schedule.
Absolutely. One of these positions does have some call time, but that is a bonus. I think that a lot of the staff like is that, yes, and it's definitely hours you get. You know, there's no call off time for us and our staff, and no day is the same. So if you're somebody who likes variety, these positions offer that. And these are 2 very different positions. So one is more clinical based and one is more in our outreach based area.
Okay. And have we reached out, as I know we do, to the universities and to Baker, Washburn, and others to say, this is an opportunity for public health.
We have, yes. We currently have contracts with multiple schools of nursing to actually get the students in, and I'm really proud. Part of my team has worked to embed themselves, so they're actually getting into the schools of nursing and earlier. Community health nursing is typically not done till the last semester of nursing school, and so trying to get in there earlier to really just showcase what community nursing or public health nursing is about before those students actually get to it during their curriculum studies.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. I'll make a motion to approve the request of the Health Department.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you.
Commissioners.
Our next item.
Item G, Commission, number 1, consider the appointment of Gilda Singleton to the Monmouth Township Board as trustee.
Ms. Singleton has written and emailed the commission asking for the appointment. This is the position that was vacated by Chuck Gatewood. She has extensive experience working with the Topeka Township and now has moved into the Monmouth Township. I would see no reason not to appoint her. At this time, I would make a motion to appoint her.
I'll second.
Motion to appoint by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 2, reappoint Roger Dirks to the Juvenile Advisory Board for Community Corrections.
We have received a request from Mr. Dirks asking that he would like to continue to serve on the Juvenile Corrections Advisory Board. Any objection to a reappointment?
I'll move for approval.
Motion to reappoint by Commissioner Mays,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you, Mr. Dirks, for your continued service. Our next item.
Item 5, public comment.
This is an opportunity for any member of the public to comment.
Good morning, Henry McClure, Shawnee County. How are you all today? Thank you. Made a Cora request the other day. We have this ongoing discussion of the hijinks in Lawrence Bay and whose really responsibility it is. And it seems like the buck doesn't stop anywhere, and the buck's not collected, which really, I'm just like befuddled. I'm telling you. So I got a note back from your county clerk that none of the documents existed on the Cora request. So that means you don't ever record or decide who's going to put things on the list over to our counselor. And when I asked, why did this go on for 10 years? Well, so apparently there's a policy there's no policy that says absolutely after 3 years it goes on. The answer we got from your counselor last week was enough gymnastics to get a gold medal. It was like, well, there's all these things that exist. There's all these different conditions that really after his answer, you could say, well, wait a minute, that's a special condition. That's a special condition. There was even the thought of, well, wait a minute, those are city specials. And there was almost denial that the fact that there's almost $8 million owed out in that area. I've done the research. Chuck Doltmeyer did the research. Chuck Doltmeyer is building out in that area. Chuck Doltmeyer worked with another guy who was in the exact same situation, and Chuck got those properties up and going paying taxes. So where am I going with this? Let's see. If the county treasurer's job is actually to collect the taxes. You mentioned the other day Vic Miller bringing forward an ouster against Larry Wilson. Well, if our current treasurer didn't collect taxes, and you can't decide who or why it wasn't turned over to the counselor, and you're going to blame the city for not collecting their specials. So I made the same request to the city. Amanda Stanley writes back, there's been no discussion in my office with this, about this. You know, this is wrong. What did I learn through all this? There's no need for JETO. Okay, because this would have been a perfect project. Lawrence Bay would have been a perfect project for JETO to handle. You guys get together. I watched an old JETO meeting. It was interesting. I learned something really cool. Joe Ledbetter says that I can actually make my core requests right to go Topeka because it's in their contract that they have to answer. That was interesting. So I enjoyed the children's book that you gave me the other day, but there's a lot of things missing in this book. And there's a lot of things Cora, if I could get Cora to, if I could find out whose responsibility is, like why didn't the treasurer over 10 years, did we just pick and choose who we're gonna foreclose on? I looked at some of the addresses, there's almost like 100 and they all go to one place. Now LLCs are tricky, they could be a lot of different people. So I would really hate to blame one guy. But this stinks. This really does. So the treasurer's and Amanda Stanley says that too in her letter to me. She goes, well, that's the treasurer's job. Why didn't the treasurer collect the taxes? Why didn't you make the treasurer do his job? And why isn't there a policy that's consistent with putting people on the tax sales? These are pretty good questions because I'd like to get the answers and fill out this children's book that you so kindly gave me. I know it was all done in disrespect, but that's okay. I got broad shoulders. Shawnee County and Topeka is the only town that I know you could be standing in front of a burning building and we'd say, you know what, we got to get a consultant. We had to hire a consultant to figure out how to put out that fire. And then you'd pay Go Topeka $5 million to put it out, but it just never does. So JETO has really lived its usefulness. Because originally the JETO was designed to grow the population and broaden the tax base. Taxes have gone up, population hadn't grown. JETO can't even work together. If you're going to blame the city, and I think it's the county, it's all this dance, this would have been a perfect project for JETO. When are we just going to realize that economic development is just lower taxes? Oh, I was supposed to get up here and say that I'm for the city limits, the planning department stopping at the city limits. I think Mike Hall, Dan Warner do a great job. I don't have anything against them, but I do believe some of my projects, they have no business dealing out in the 3-mile radius. And I'm telling you something, this Go Topeka thing and JETO, it's no different than the hotel. Economic development was the Expo Center. Sorry, I said I was going to keep it short, but the Expo Center is on one of the things for economic development. If we were running the Expo Center better, the hotel would have done better. But it is what it is today. But there's some sort of link between the way we're operating, the treasurer not collecting, and who owed the taxes. There's a link there, and I'm going to continue to work on that so I can finish this book. Jetto has outlived itself. Lower taxes are the answer. We don't need to spend $5 million to a bunch of people that aren't putting water on the fire. You know, when I first met Commissioner Cook, he talked about IRBs and how, you know, developers and builders and businesses can self-fund themselves. And what happened today didn't really put a burden on the taxpayers. And you can develop completely in this community with CID and TIF. You know, most of the cities run down, and qualifying for TIF or making it qualifies pretty easy. What I worry more about today than anything, I've been coming down here since I elected to run for county commissioner. I've been coming down here. I wanted to see how it works, get the inner workings. What I worry about is Ken Corbett's lawsuit and the burden that might put on the financial status of this community and some of these nice people losing jobs or some of their staff. I really worry about that. And what I really worry about more than anything is doing it the way King Corbett did it. Is that the only way to get the attention of government? And where I think that we need to be able to come down here and all work together. And this it's the city problem, it's the county problem, all that stuff, that nonsense has got to stop. If you got Jetto today, use it. Work together with them. You guys are the economic leaders, but you're not doing your job, and it needs to fizzle. That's one man's opinion. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about governmental affairs. I think I'll rewrite this book. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else wish to speak on public comment? Our next item.
Item 6, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or county department to speak on any item.
Good morning, Shawnee County Jail. Brian Cole, Director. Just wanted to let you know that we've started another Basic Officer Academy. We have 14 individuals going through our academy for the 4-week academy. We started Monday, so I just want to let everybody know that we're in the process of getting some more staff through our academy, and that we'll be holding our graduation, and I'll be getting invitations to you all out here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I just want to let you know that we're in the middle of another academy.
Very good. Thank you. Any other county announcements? Commissioner Rippon?
I don't have anything to add.
Commissioner Mays?
Nope, nothing for me.
Okay. We will not have a work session on Monday, so our next meeting will then be next Thursday. Our next item.
Executive sessions.
We do have a need for an executive session today. We will be meeting regarding matters related to employee or employee negotiations, whether or not in consultation with the representative or representatives of the body or agency. This is regarding ongoing negotiations with the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, and some of our other unions. Also, we are going to be meeting with consultation with the attorney for the body or agency, which will be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship. This will be for a period not to exceed 30 minutes, and we'll start at, let's say, 9:45, and that's a motion. Is there a second? Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? We are in executive session. We are back from executive section. No action was taken. We are adjourned.